Pretty dusty in here. So, with no sign of the Cambelt being done, I can't take the risk. So let's see Wagwan. So, gotta get this off. Need to check what's under here. See the Cambelt. Now the Cambelt, also known as a timing belt, does exactly that. It keeps the bottom half of the engine, the crankshaft and the pistons in time with the cam gear and valves located in the head. If this breaks, well trust me, you don't want this to break. Picture them pistons hitting the valves. You're gonna end up with this sorry mess. That's engine rebuild time. Oh gosh. Engine cover. Let's get that gone. It sits on little pegs. Sharp tug, and it's out of here. Get out. Now the cam belt is nestled under this little cover, but I want to get some other bits out of the way first, for better access. Mold grips for these awkward clips. The mount is broken, so that makes removal easier. Don't worry, it'll be sorted. The coolant tank has got to come out, so that's another clip for a hose. Connector disconnected, and a harness pulled out of the way. These cheeky bastards holding it in there. Good old torque screws. Now all that's undone, I can pull it to one side. Now let's get busy whipping that cover off. No long ting. Oh, hang about. Another coolant line's in the way. Moles to the rescue. Stubborn one, this. But it's off. Now let all that drain into a bucket. Remember, if you spill this, hose it away. Some animals are attracted to the sweetness, and it's never a good ending for them. Lecture over. Let's wiggle this out. And here's the belt. Not an OEM part. Looks like a power grip made by Gates. So I'll hit them up to see when it was made. Here's the reply. The car's a 2012, so this has to be a 2017 belt. Definitely due a change. Anyway, more clips off. And this little hole's where I'm going to lift the engine from. But as usual, something's in the way. No drama, no palaver. Oh, come on. It's fiddly, but there it is. Now let's bring out the big guns. As I've got to take the engine mount off, I need to hold up the engine somehow. So this hoist is perfect for that. I'll slap a hook through the engine, lock in a little chain, feed it upwards, and then another big ass hook. And that's held in by this. Sorted. A little bracket needs to be removed, and then the big engine mount bolts. Pretty simple so far. So we got that bolt, and there's some slightly more awkward ones holding it to the block. This bolt, and that bolt. But I ain't phased. Everything seems to be designed to get to it one way or another. I'm enjoying it so far. Now this mount doesn't want to come out, so let's raise up the engine a little bit more. Big fish, little fish, cardboard box. Manipulate that sucker right out of there. Oh. Come on.
Not far to go, just need to take these little bolts out to get the bottom cover off. Need to get this belt out of the way. Just needs to pull back on that, releases the tensioner, and we can get that off.
I just want to get this Cambelt done, but obstacles are in the way. Get off and get out of here.
Timing mark there.
Before I continue, I will set everything to top dead center. That involves lining up a few marks.
Needs to be lined up.
So I'll turn the crank by hand until they meet. So that tooth lines up with the arrow on the casing.
Goes across and it's in line with that arrow.
And at the bottom, the pulley on the crank has a notch that lines up with the casing too. That tensioner I was messing with earlier needs to come completely off as it's in the way of the lower cover. Only 3 bolts though, no big deal. The pulley on the crank needs to come off, so I've locked it in place with a ring spanner, and away we go. Now don't forget I've moved the crank, so these timing marks will need to be lined up again.
Well, someone's definitely done a belt before because them Tipex marks aren't factory, so at least it's been done.
An assortment of bolts come out to get this cover off. And it's free at last.
And there you have it. So, camshaft, tensioner, you got your water pump, crank pulley down there, another little idler as well. So all these have got to come off. And before I take it off, I'm going to use some of this paint. I'm going to put a little marker there, same at the top on the belt and the cog, same at the top, and then I can transfer that to the new belt, count the teeth, and make sure it goes on exactly the same spot, just in case.
I guess it's a fail-safe, just in case the crank or the cam moves slightly when taking a belt off. Even being just one tooth off can affect the car's running, and we don't want that. No, we don't. Now it's time to loosen everything. I'll start by releasing the tension on the belt. Have a butch. I crack the idler bolts off. Just like that. And then the belt can be slid off. Drip. Now that's out of the way, the water pump is next to go. It makes sense to do this considering the amount of work needed to get to it. Only 3 bolts again, so it's a quick thing. Don't forget to catch that coolant. And side by side, they look the same.
Time for the refit.
Now wipe down the face and put the new pump in, not forgetting the rubber O-ring. Yeah, we're doing just fine. Let's bolt it up, torque it down. Same goes for the idlers. The tensioner's pushed in place for now. Matching them paint lines, don't forget. Our little fail-safe.
Spaghetti junction ting. The teeth on the belt were counted against the old and marked accordingly. Check it. Nice. Attention is set and then torqued. This means now the lower cover can go home. Righty tighty. Have that. And then the crank pulley put back in its place. It can only go one way. Tightened up. And then held with a ring spanner. Just like how we removed it. That pesky tensioner can go back on. Irrational hate for it. 3 bolts, and then the belt can go back on. Not forgetting the makeshift retaining pin, aka long ass screw, can be taken out. Engine mount good to go. Back in, that's not in the bin by the way. New bolts here going in and getting torqued down. Get down. Done with that hoist, so my squinting ass can remove that. Hang on a minute, imagine forgetting to tighten these ones up. Actually don't, it'd be a madness. I'm gonna chuck that wheel back on so I can get this thing back on the ground and level. All the hoist trinkets, get out of here. Top half of the belt cover can be seated. And the coolant tank goes back in. We're on the home stretch now, people. Bear with me. All the hoses took off need to go back where they rightfully came from, or we're gonna have problems. I'll order a new bracket for that. And that little bracket goes back in. I forgot about that one. Minor. More clips. Coolant warning sensor. Now that's important. So what's next? Time for the fill up. Let's crank it.
And that's what I'm talking about.
I had no doubt it would be fine. Purring like a kitten and gobbling up that coolant. Before it starts pulling in air, I'll fill it up some more. Now we got to sit back and let it get up to temperature.
Alright, so we just got to let the air bleed out the coolant, and I think we're good.
The air needs to be removed, as this won't cool an engine from inside the pipework. For the records, I wrote down the date it was changed. Got to keep a tab on these things. Sorted. This can go on the belt cover. Oi, oi. Let's shut that and get the engine cover back on. No delay.
And that's another job off the list. But do me a favour, people, get subbing, like and share the hell out of it. Love you long time. Bless up.